Hi, this is Jenny Brav of Radiant Wholeness Healing, and I wanted to facilitate tapping on the energy of collapse. This can feel similar and be associated with overwhelm, feeling powerless, patterns of leaving one's body, a freeze response. And I know for me, it often comes when I'm on the cusp of the next evolution of my growth, and some parts that feel it's too dangerous to be fully in my power, fully in my body, visible, in abundance, whatever it might be, start resisting, and that's where they collapse. And it's a different energy from fight energy. Like there can be parts that go into resistance, and that's often associated with in the fight, flight, freeze, fawning, that can be associated with the fight response. Whereas for me, the collapse definitely feels like it's associated with the freeze. It can be associated with flight in terms of hiding. And where I feel it in my body, and it might be different for you, and not everybody goes into collapse. So this is only intended for people for whom this is a wounding and a strategy. So I'm modeling where I feel it just in case it might help you find it in your own energy field, body. Sometimes, especially if it's associated with disassociation, then we might not feel our body at all. But I've been noticing it really strongly here in my solar plexus. And it really feels like that whole area collapses in. And my experience of it is the communication between my heart and my will just caves in. And all the places where energy should be flowing, it's almost like becomes a black hole where energy is being sucked out. And in the past week, because I'm definitely at a cusp in my growth and evolution, and I think for many of us, this is kind of the period right now, different things have been bringing up that feeling of powerlessness, of collapse. And I've done a lot of healing on my childhood memories. Those are feeling much softer because they're ones that I've worked on for a while, the ancestral, especially when I was in the process of buying my new home, the ancestral wounding around displacement and not feeling safe in one's home, both physical home and homeland, were really up, in particular on my Jewish side, on my paternal side, but also on my maternal Scottish lineage. And so I did a lot of healing on that. And so recently I've been tapping into past lives where the collapse and the powerlessness was actually a physical one of, a boy in a tunnel that collapsed, working in a mine. So I invite you to feel into where those places are for you. And I was going to skip this part, but let's actually close our eyes just for a moment. And I invite you to feel for yourself this energy of collapse, what led you to do this today. And just noticing what that feels like, how you know that there's some implosion or collapse, what your experience of that is like, what emotions, secondary emotions it might bring up. Is it helplessness? Is it despair, resignation, anger, frustration, fear, sadness, rage, Could be all of the above, none of the above. And noticing any beliefs you might have about yourself, about the world, about your power, about having power, about your agency. That might be associated with this. And also feeling if there's another part of you that is pointing to some other possibility, nudging you towards trust, towards more power, towards expansion. What that might feel like in your body. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. If you need more time, you can always pause the video. And I know for me, the collapse energy is really like this. As I said, implosion, it's right here. It's my shoulders cave in, my breath gets shallow. Often my head also collapses a little bit. And when I feel into the parts of me that are bringing this up in service to my growth, to me really stepping into my own power, I feel all this expansion, lifting in my chest, my sternum, my head. I've also been really tapping into the energy of egrets recently. There will be a video soon on that. And that's been part of what they've been showing me is like just this sense of power in the chest, the connection between the head and the wind and the wings. And so really feeling for you anything that is calling you out of the collapse, any energies, any guides, any intuition. All right, so I invite us to start tapping on the side of your hand and repeating after me in your head or out loud. Feel free to modify the words to match whatever is true for you. Even though I'm feeling so collapsed, and part of me just does not want to be here. Everything feels too hard, too big. Part of me wants to give up. And another part of me is nudging me towards expansion, is whispering that something else is possible. I'm open to loving and accepting myself deeply and completely with all of this. Hi, part of me that just wants to collapse inside of the eyebrows is collapsed. Outside of the eyes, breathe. I see you under and above the lips. I know you're there. Under the collarbone. I know you're there for a reason. Middle of sternum. Thanks for pointing to all the ways. The ribs, that I learned to give up on my power, side of the body, give my power away, rest. That being in my power was too dangerous. Other wrist. That I had to dim my light to be safe. Tapping all over the head. I feel you. Inside of the eyebrows. I acknowledge you. Outside of the eyes. Thank you for showing me what is needing healing right now. Under the eyes. And I am so sorry. Under and above the lips. For whatever might have happened. Under the collarbone, breathe. In my childhood or young adulthood. Middle of the sternum, ancestrally. Ribs, maybe even karmically. Side of the body. That gave me the message that being in my power was not okay. Wrist. I acknowledge the wound. Other wrist. And any unprocessed emotions. That might be coming up around it. Tapping all over the head. Hide powerlessness and helplessness. Inside of the eyebrows, fear and grief. Outside of the eyes, breathe. Anger and confusion. Under the eyes. Impotent rage. Under and above the lips. And any other emotions this might be bringing up. Under the collarbone, breathe. Middle of the sternum. I feel you. Ribs. I'm sorry you never got the loving attention you needed. Side of the body. To process through the body and be released back into the atmosphere. Wrist, breathe. Other wrist. And I acknowledge any beliefs that might be in the way, tapping all over the head. From me getting to the next level of my evolution, inside of the eyebrows, high belief that whatever I do outside of the eyes, whenever I pull myself up under the eyes, I'm just going to get knocked down. Under and above the lips, breathe. That being in my power is selfish. Under the collarbone, unsafe. Middle of the sternum, or will hurt others. Ribs, and I acknowledge any other belief that might be here. Side of the body, and feel free to name other beliefs that arise for you. Wrist. And I acknowledge any coping strategies. Other risks that I might have developed to survive the situation. Tapping all over the head. Based on the belief I developed inside of the eyebrows to make sense of things. Tapping on the side of the eyes. High pattern of collapsing under the eyes, hiding under and above the lips, distracting under the collarbone, staying busy, middle of the sternum, spinning in my head, ribs, wanting to hide, side of the body wanting to fight, especially in my own mind, wrist. Thank you so much for wanting to protect me. Breathe. Other wrist. And part of me is so ready to release this. Tapping all over the head. Part of me knows that this is no longer serving. Inside of the eyebrows, breathe. Let's hold out in front of us whatever wounding might have happened. We might be aware of what it is in our childhood. It might be ancestral or past life or all three. So let's just stack any memories or felt sense that's still stuck in our bodies and our nervous systems of that sense of it not being safe to be fully in our power. Any trauma that led to a freeze response, all the associated emotions that we named, the beliefs developed to make sense of things that we might have come in with or developed in response to whatever happened in this lifetime, and the coping strategies, in this case of collapse, of wanting to give up, of which really is just a sign of us disconnecting from our own life force energy um, and our own knowing, our own power. So let's nod to all of that. And let's also really honor the places in our body that we've been holding this pattern. And let's release all of that back to energy, to light. You can tear it up if it feels like a contract, shake it out, make noise, or whatever specific way you have of releasing it. And then releasing any cords that might be tying you to that pattern, to that place in your body. As I said, a lot of the cords from here, right here between the third and fourth chakras. I'm just clearing all of that. You can feel where in your body is wanting a little more attention. There's also kind of a lot in the back of my occiput and neck and shoulder blades. And let's tap on what we're calling in. Inside of the eyebrows, I am calling in my connection to my knowing. Outside of the eyes, my full, unbridled power. Under the eyes, and full permission to inhabit my power and my body completely. Under and above the lips, permission to use my voice. Under the collarbone, to speak my truth. Middle of sternum, to let go of duality. Ribs, I am stepping into my light. Side of the body, it is safe for me to shine as brightly as I want. Wrist. And if anybody feels threatened by that, other wrist, that is on them. Head, I can have compassion for their wounds. Inside of the eyebrows. And keep honoring my own knowing. Outside of the eyes, I am guided. Under the eyes, I am ready. Under and above the lips, to be unapologetically me. Under the collarbone, that is what I'm here for. Middle of the sternum, why else would I have taken on a body? Ribs, again. Breathe. Side of the body, and I'm discovering it can be easy. Head, fun. Inside of the eyebrows, joyful. Outside of the eyes, magical. Good. Let's pause in the tapping. Let's breathe all that in. If you want to, you can close your eyes and really feeling yourself bringing into your crown this full permission to step unapologetically into your purpose, your power, your life force energy, your voice, your bigness, your visibility, and feeling that rewiring all the neural patterns that are conditioned to believing that that is not safe, and rewiring those pathways towards this play and expansion and limitlessness and full permission, feeling that permeating your nerve endings and your nervous system and all the places that are wired into fight, flight, freeze response when invited to be in your power, or in situations where there's a push pull around this. Just feeling your nervous system being rewired into this as your default state, your birthright, in a non-dual way that does not require oppositionality for you to find your power and voice. And filling all the places that were feeling collapsed in your body with this sense of expansion, of possibility, of invitation. And feel free to invite in your higher self, a version of you that's already fully in your power, a guide that is wanting to help you in this next iteration of self, of power, of your growth. It might be a guide you've been working with, it might be a new guide, could be an animal, a plant, a color, an energy, a spiritual teacher, just a felt sense. Just feel into any qualities you're being called into, any message, any transmission, any healing, any gift, any flow of energy that is wanting to permeate your being. Just taking it in, bringing all of this yumminess into your heart. Whatever you might be feeling right now, just filling all four chambers of your heart with this feeling, message, and invitation, the words we were just calling in. And when your heart feels so full, it's going to spill over with all this energy, allowing it to radiate back out into the world, sending it up and down your timeline, past and future iterations of self, past and future generations, past and future lives. And let's send some of this goodness to all of the places, parts of the world, people who could use permission to be in their fullness and wholeness. And when you're ready, tapping all over their beautiful body, shaking it out, touch something grounding. Beautiful. Thank you so much for going on this journey with me. If it touched something in you, please comment, please like so other people can find this, and subscribe, turn on notifications. That will helped me enormously. And there's lots of information in the link about working with me or having a free consultation if that interests you.